So we're about to start talking about classes in depth, both in terms of JavaScript classes, new features that we have access to in JavaScript, and then how we work within TypeScript with classes. And in this section, we're going to focus mostly on JavaScript, talk about things like private fields, class fields, constructor functions, the extends keyword, super, inheritance. So you may be familiar with some of that or all of that. So this is fully focused on JavaScript classes so that when we get to the next section on TypeScript with classes, we all have the same foundation. But in this video, I'm just going to set up a new project. So I'm not even going to talk about classes. I'm going to use the same formula that we used in the previous section where we used a server, we set up an HTML document, and we did all of that so I could print out some result. I could see something that I was actually doing and run my code instantly. So instead of just compiling to JavaScript, I also want to execute my code. That will just help us work with classes and actually see the output. So I'm in a new empty classes recap directory, and I'm going to do a tsc --init to initialize TypeScript, and I'll do an npm init-y. So I have my package.json, and I'll do an npm install light-server. This is one of many, many options. There's a million ways to run our code, but this will just do a nice auto reload of our web page anytime that our file changes. Okay. Well, that's going. Well, finished. I'll also make an index.html, and then I'll make two directories, a source directory and a dist directory. Okay, so I'll go to my index.html next. Let's close this down a little bit. I'll call this classes recap, and then I'll link to a script that doesn't yet exist, and that script is going to be in dist / and I'll call it index.js. That's just where I'm going to put all my, that's where TypeScript will put all my code. I will put it in index.ts. So I'll go ahead and make that file in the source directory. And let's just put a console.log in here that says it's working, hopefully, but it's not yet. And then I can close this index.html. Now I need to tell TypeScript what to use as the out directory. Out dir, which is going to be dist. And then if I wanted to, I could tell it to only include, I need double quotes. I don't really need to do this, but I could say only include the source directory and nothing else. But in our case, there is nothing else, so either one really works. Okay, so let's do tsc-w for watch. Make sure we end up with our index.js. There it is. And let's also open up a new terminal window. And again, I'm doing this in VS Code. You can use any terminal app. I just don't want to be switching screens a lot. And in here, I now will start my server. But before I can do that, I need to add in a script. npm start will just run light server. Okay, so a lot of setup, I know. But now I can run npm start. And we see our live server starts down here. And my browser opens up to localhost something. It depends on how many servers you have going, but some localhost port. And then I see my it's working output. So now I could go into my index.ts and start changing things around like woo and another console.log. Yay. And I'm typing TypeScript. I save, and it automatically will reload in my browser. So now we can write our classes and print things out, have some output and see the results instantly. Okay, so we made it through that setup. If I lost you there, go back and watch the video last section where I talked about this, at least one way of setting up your code and having some immediate output and some browser sync and a server. I went into more detail then. In this video, we just plowed through it. Anyway, next up, on to classes.